gentlemen, boys and girls, it is about that time. Keep your hands up and keep your head on a swivel. The Haymakers and Submissions podcast is here. We woke up and chose violence today. Stick and stay for combat sports at its finest, coming your way now.
Welcome, everybody, once again to the Haymakers and Submissions podcast. East Chops, I'm Drew. We're talking all things combat sports this week. We're touching on a little UFC, touching on some boxing. But how you doing, Chops?
I'm good, man. A lot of crazy, like we talk about sports. Did you, by chance, watch any of the NBA Finals?
I did see some of it. I saw all of Game 7 for sure.
Okay. You watched the entire game?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you, from G League, preseason, before the All-Star break, after the All-Star break, the entire season, playoffs, if you add up every minute of every bit of NBA basketball I watched, I bet you I didn't get a half. I bet you I didn't get a complete half. No, I didn't. I think I watched 4 minutes of like game 3 of the Western Conference Finals. I watched 2 minutes maybe of the finals. I just didn't really. And game 7, I was going to turn on. And I did when there was like 3 minutes left in the third. Mm-hmm. I'm like, they're down by 12. So I turned it. Then I go to turn back on early fourth, whatever, and they're down by damn near 20. So I didn't even watch any of it, man. I didn't watch any of it. So I can't. College hoops, I love it. I love college hoops, man. I don't know, man. I just don't get it. It's like, I don't want to say they don't try, but I hate the flopping. I hate I don't know, man. I just cannot get into the NBA. I just can't. You know what I mean? So I did not watch much of it anyway. I didn't even watch much of the NHL playoffs this year either. I didn't watch any of that. I thought McDavid was going to get it. I thought he was going to get his cup this year. I did. It was not to be. I thought he was going to get it, man.
That, I didn't watch much of the playoffs either in hockey, mostly because I was bummed about the Red Wings. But I did watch the finals, and man, I know we're old heads, right? Yeah. Now, I'm not a guy that says I want the 80s back, that wants just, drop them and, beat the hell out of everybody. But the 90s to me you had the skill, and you still had the toughness with meaning. Because in hockey, you see fights, but often now they're like orchestrated between the two tough guys at a point in the game that might not mean anything. Back in the day, it was more of a policeman type role. It was like, you take a shot at one of our guys, I'm going to get you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And this guy's honest. It keeps things on a level playing field. And that's what my Red Wings sorely lack anyone to hold folks accountable. Not necessarily with dropping the gloves, but just with hitting. So we got to throw our efforts and our attention into boxing and combat sports shots, because we're not.
Yeah. Matter of fact, what was I watching? There's a show, and I don't know. It went back to, what was it, 96? The Red Wings and the Avalanche and the major brawl. Remember that in the hockey? Because you're talking about your hockey. Oh, yeah. I thought about that. It was 96, 97, whatever it was. And then how it was Lemieux did the cheap shot. And then how the brawl came back.
I'll tell you what. I mean, the Red Wings were on a losing end of some of that, and they won some. But that was incredible sport. It was some of the highest level of hockey you're ever going to see, and then the toughness. It was hatred. But it was at a high level.
Yeah.
That's why I miss it. I miss it.
So now, let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. Do you follow your Red Wings as much today as you did 10, 12 years ago, 20 years ago?
The Red Wings I do, but the NHL as a whole, no. As a 15-year-old, I could name you every player on every roster.
Yeah.
I guess the game took over. Now I flipped the 1 and the 5. The 50.
Exactly.
I'm definitely hip to the Wings. And all the Detroit teams, but football is probably the only sport I'm still very up on with personnel. among all.
Oh, without question. Yeah, man. So we got all that, under. Let's get it started, man. So you get the people what they want.
Absolutely, man. We're going to talk about Jon Jones retiring from MMA. What is his legacy, Chops? I mean, even a novice MMA fan like myself certainly knows Jon Jones, but I want to hear your take. What's his legacy?
Okay. Well, first off, people are now coming at him because he's not fighting Tom Aspinall. Okay. Aspinall, as he said, is hot now. And he's big, he's young, he's fast. I get all that. I get all that. But at this point, Jon Jones is truly only coming back for mega paydays, fights that add to his legacy. And even though, yes, Aspinall could be a big draw and a big fight, to beat him doesn't add to his legacy, because Aspinall is hot now, but he hasn't even defended against any big names. You know what I mean? He hasn't been in any of the wars of attrition. So yes, he's hot now. But like, he came back to fight Stipe, as did Jon Jones. He took time off and then he moves up and fights Cyril Gane. You know what I mean? To show people I was 205 for years. Now I'm moving up heavyweight. And honestly, I don't even know. I don't think he landed 3-4 punches in that fight with Cyril Gane before he choked him out. I mean, literally. I really don't even think he landed 3 or 4 punches in that. But now, as we go to his legacy, I understand in this day and age, people say things that don't make sense, or, and in sports now, if you notice, nobody rarely, the talking heads, they don't talk bad much about other guys. If a guy's up for a contract, I hope he gets his bag, or whatever. Or now, this guy can do anything on the floor. This guy can do everything, whatever have you. You know what I mean? So, no, I'm not, guys want to swap shirts and that, whatever have you. So, and I'm saying all that to say, Dana White had once said, you can put Jon Jones in a room with any man on the planet, and Jon Jones is walking out. He's walking out of that room. And when I'm telling you, I don't care who your Mount Rushmore is. If you're going skill set for skill set, Jon Jones MMA has to be on it. Has to be on it. Because let's not forget, he also had a grappling background where he didn't go into a deep. He only won 5 matches, but he's undefeated in grappling matches, right? Getting choked, whatever have you. But he's 28-1, and his one loss is not because he lost, it's because he had a disqualification loss, because at the time he did the 12-6, the elbow straight down.
Gotcha.
And back then it was deemed too brutal, or you couldn't do it, because they believed that gave you more force than anything else. And it was, I guess guys had watched videos and saw guys breaking boards, breaking ice blocks, coming straight down, and they assumed it was worse than whatever have you. You know what I mean? So that's what it was. But he was winning the fight. Through the elbow, they stopped it. The guy was like, no, I can't go on, which he could have. But hey, and that was his only loss. And now that elbow is now legal. So he was trying to go backwards and be like, hey, just let me take that off my. And they're like, no, it was legal at the time. But you figure, man, some of the who's who in mixed martial arts, you had Stipe, Hall of Famer, Daniel Cormier, Hall of Famer, Vitor Belfort. If he's not a Hall of Famer, he's right up there. You had Machida back there was a point where you knew anybody could lose. But when Machida had the belt, you honestly didn't think there was anybody's skill set that was going to be good enough to beat him. Then, you had Marcio Shogun Rua. Rua came over from Pride, and he was destroying cats of Pride. His MMA at UFC wasn't what everybody thought, but those are some of the names of who Jon Jones has beaten. Now, I admit, Daniel Cormier, he had the 1-0 contest because he was on the roids, whatever have you. They whatever. But even Daniel Cormier said in that fight, I was the best version of me, and I couldn't beat him. I mean, yeah, even Daniel Cormier said that. So Jon Jones, he was literally his own worst enemy. He had a fight against a guy named Gustafson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alexander Gustafson. And depending on who you talk to, it may be 50-50, 60-40 on who won that. It was that close. It was that close. They ran it back. It was such a war that literally they both went to the same hospital. That it was nasty, right? So having said that, then he gets back in and he runs it back with Gustafson and destroys him. I think second, third round of a 5-round fight, he just takes him out. So when I tell you Jon Jones is literally, and if he's not even your GOAT, because as fighters, it's it's objective who you have. He's on your Mount Rushmore. He has to be. His own worst enemy was himself. That was himself. He was fighting Daniel Cormier on the rematch. And there, now, mind you, he's already been suspended for hit and run. He's already been suspended for cocaine and other drugs, whatever have you. Yeah. So now he's trying to get back because he's taking some time off. He's getting back, and they're in a press conference. And he says it to Daniel Jones or Daniel Cormier. Dude, think about it. I beat you after a weekend of cocaine. I mean, that's where, if you talk to other fighters, they're like, Jon Jones would come in, do some basic stretches, and it just beat everybody in the gym. He is. You figure his brothers, Chandler and the other from the Patriots and the Chiefs, those are his brothers. You know what I mean? So he's the small one. You know what I mean? He's the small one. But he literally, his legacy is he's going out on his own. He gets to do that because we've seen some other UFC fighters have to come back and take fights they don't need, or they're a shell of them for their former selves. And you're missing what they used to be. Jon Jones went out on his own and when he moved up to heavyweight, fought Cyril Gahn, choked him out. Then he fights Stipe and knocks him out. I mean, his legacy is solidified and it is intact. Now, on the side, I said I wouldn't be surprised if you see Aspinall get a couple defenses against some good guys, if he gets some good guys. Mm-hmm. And Jones maybe comes back in a year or so, because there's a chance he might still come back and fight Ngannou, because Ngannou's proven he's dangerous, he's this, that, whatever have you. So that would be, it'd be a mega payday, but it adds to his legacy because of who Ngannou is, what he's done. You know what I mean? So that we'll see. So again, I get why some people are mad that he's not fighting Aspinall, but you're also talking about a 37, 38-year-old guy who has been hot, who's done it, who's fought the who's who in his weight class and ran through them all. You know what I mean? So again, that's there. But and matter of fact, he had a fight with Dominic Reyes. A lot of people thought he lost, but he got the nod. And I guess you could say that about a lot of other fighters. They had fights, they were the champ, and there was a little home cook, and they shouldn't have got the win. Mm-hmm. But for the most part of it, man, Jon Jones' legacy is intact. He is on everyone's Mount Rushmore. And it stinks, man, because and I used to see just as many people watching a Jon Jones fight to see him lose as to see him win. And it got to the point where it was just, he's that dude, man. I can't even front. When your boy said it, put him in a room with anyone and Jon Jones walks out. That's impressive. Yeah, that's impressive. It really is, man. It's really impressive. So on his that, if he rides off into the sunset, enjoy your retirement, whatever have you, but he's one of the greatest to ever do it. Without question, one of the best to ever do it.
Like you said, even the layman fan knows who Jon Jones is. So
yes, absolutely, man. If you get a chance, real quick, to go back on YouTube, look up his fight with Lyoto Machida, how he chokes him out, thought he was dead. Then in a fight with Vitor Belfort. Vitor was a phenomenal guy. Belfort was tremendous. Great ground guy, jiu-jitsu. He hits Jon Jones like a snake bite. Popped it. Hit him with an arm bar. To this day, nobody knows how Jon Jones didn't tap because it was deep. They're going crazy. I know Joe Rogan is there. I don't know if Daniel Cormier is one of the announcers or not, but I know it's Joe Rogan. And might have been Mike Goldberg and Rogan. And it's deep. And that happened in the first round. He doesn't tap. He ends up getting the win and the submission on Belfort. And his arm is still so bad, he can't raise his arm. He can't bend. He popped the cap, or he popped the caps or something in there. But those are phenomenal fights, man. And just to see what he put up with and how he didn't tap, that just showed me the heart and determination and the fire that he had in him. Jon Jones, he's like that, man. You got to give it up to him.
Yeah, he's the real deal. So hopefully we'll see him one more time. But yeah, as of now, he is definitely retired. Man, he's like 38. So I mean, you can't wait too long. Can't wait too long.
Exactly.
Well, let's talk about the future this weekend coming up on the big UFC event 317 in Las Vegas on Saturday. The lightweight title is vacated. Now, explain that to me. What happened with that? Because what do you know why that was vacated?
Because Maciej, he wanted to move up to 170.
Okay.
To fight, not Duplessis 188. I can't even think who the champ is. I'm looking right. Nurmagomedov. Is it Nurmagomedov? I can't even think who the champ is at 170.
Okay, so he vacated to move up in a way. Okay.
Yeah, he vacated to move up. Now, here's the thing. Topuria, this is his first fight at 155.
Yeah, he moved up.
Yes, from 145. In his last two fights, he KO'd Max Holloway. Max Holloway, it doesn't get KO'd.
No.
And he Volkanovski.
Mm-hmm.
Volkanovski was tough, and he's had some other losses, whatever have you. But Topuria, now again, mind you, I'm going MMA, which is different than what his MMA boxing is phenomenal. Phenomenal. It is. It's MMA boxing. It is. Now, if you were to put him in there with somebody like an Abdullah Mason, some of these other guys, a Roach, no, it's not. It's not going to be. You know what I mean? It's not to that level. But for MMA, it is like that. He's got his black belt in jiu-jitsu. He throws great combinations, as Topuria does. He's lightning quick. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. He was at 145. I understand it's only 10 pounds, but you know how that is, 10 pounds, right? So So it will be interesting to see if he can take the punishment from a bigger guy, right? And if his punches have the same effect. Now, right there, they have them show like head to head, basically the same height, which is crazy.
They're not.
No, because Oliveira is a good 2 to 3, maybe 4 inches taller than Topuria, right?
Yep.
And I understand they're both going to weigh in at 155, but now by the time they rehydrate, I believe Oliveira is going to look significantly bigger. Yeah, I think come Saturday night, he's going to look significantly bigger.
Yeah.
Here's my issue, and I'm a big Du Bronx. He calls himself Du Bronx. You're right, the Du Bronx. I'm a big Du Bronx fan. However, he gets hit a lot. Jiu-jitsu wise, he's one of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners in the UFC, probably one of in the world. His name's up there. However, like I said, he gets hit a lot. He got the win against Gaethje. He got the win against Dustin Poirier. He got the win against Michael Chandler. All top names at one point when he was banging them. However, they all clipped him. Now, Topuria's hands are better and faster. So that's what I'm worried about, because of the way he fights, and he's a jiu-jitsu black belt. He is an Oliveira, also has a Muay Thai background. Muay Thai, they're not doing a whole lot of foot movement, and they're coming straight forward with that shoot fight. They're coming straight forward. Oliveira comes straight forward. He doesn't have a whole lot of head movement because he's trying to get in close, hit you with elbows, cut you, slice you, and then get a hold of you and tap you out. He has literally 10 wins by knockout and 21 by submission. 21 by submission. You know what I mean? So he really wants to get on the ground and get a hold of you. I'm telling you, man, he right now is the underdog, and there's a lot of people that are on Topuria. Topuria is hot right now. He's hot. I mean, hot as fish grease. but it's so, and I do want, and I understand why people are leaning towards him. I do. But geez, Lou, to know who Oliveira's been in there with, to know if you overextend at any point, he gets an arm, he gets a limb, he can take it home. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm interested to see. I'm just worried about it. I'm worried if he tries to stand with Topuria too long. Then I'm interested. Does Topuria's hands, because they're not boxing gloves, they're only the 4-ounce MMA gloves.
Yeah,
you don't need. It's significantly different to getting punched with a boxing glove. You know what I mean? So having said that, it's hard, man. It's hard. And as in Topuria has his black belt, Oliveira is a 4th degree black belt in jiu-jitsu. 4th degree. It takes the average person about 10 years just to get your black belt. So now he's a 4th degree, so you can imagine how long he's been rolling and practicing. I'll just be honest with you, man. Hands just in speed and combinations, I give that to Topuria. But what they know, how they put it together, who's been in worse fights, who's been in the gutter, who's been in some grimy, that goes to Oliveira. And I, like I said, I understand why people are going with Topuria. Maybe it's more in my heart than my head, and I'm not thinking straight, and it's all sentimental. But man, I'd like to see Oliveira win this. I want to see Oliveira win it. I do. Physically,
you're right. He's 3 inches taller than Topuria. He's got a 4-inch reach and leg length advantage.
Yes. And that's the thing. When he was with Gaethje, Poirier wasn't as much, but definitely Chandler. But with his legs, when you think you're far enough away, even if you're rolling on the ground, his legs are still strong enough that he can get you in a triangle. He can keep you in his guard, whatever have you. You know what I mean? So that's the thing, to where, yes, skill set wise, Topuria is there. He's got all the skill. He's got the tools. But just there's levels to this. And there's a good opportunity and a great chance that Oliveira can show him some things at the weight class, at the level, the technique that he hasn't seen before. And I'm hoping on that, and I'm counting on that for Oliveira to get the win. I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping for, man. But that is going to be a good one. That is going to be a good one. And to be honest, we're not going over it. But I've been thinking about, there's another one, a co-main event or another fight. Pantoja is fighting Kai Farah-Franz. Little guys, 130, 135. There's going to be blood in that one too. I'll be surprised if any of these fights go the distance.
Mm-hmm.
We, the fans, will be entertained, because none of these guys know how to just sit back and pitter pat. They're not going to run. They're not going to throw 2 or 3 punches and get out. They're there to go for submissions. They're there for knockouts. Both of those fights, they're going to be good ones.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I'm gonna try and watch this one for sure, because I'm intrigued by it, definitely.
Oh yeah, without question.
And then Topuria, I think, is the number 3 pound per pound in the UFC right now, and Oliveira is 13th, I believe.
Yeah.
Mistaken. So
but again, Topuria is hot right now. Yeah. He's hot now. I'll give him that. He is.
So yeah, definitely gonna be an interesting fight. Going to be a good event, UFC 317. We're going to shift now to boxing. We're going to talk about Deontay Wilder. He's taking on Tyrell Herndon, and it's in a 10-round fight on Friday, which is going to be on the Showtime Prime, Black Prime app, Showtime Prime channel. I'm interested to see this fight, Chas, because I still hold out that Deontay Wilder still might have something left in the tank, and he's saying the right things right now in terms of he thinks he's got his mental health straight. He's kind of got a new outlook on things, and maybe a mentally refreshed Deontay Wilder could make some noise in what's really a very weak heavyweight division right now, in my view. What are you looking for against Tyrell Herndon in this one?
Okay, before we get into that, I want to ask you a question, because he said, and he said he's got his mental health back.
Mm-hmm.
And you never play with someone's mental health. You never, whatever, you have to always think. I wonder if he doesn't lose these last, 4 of his last 5, 2 to Tyson Fury, 1 to Zhang, and then to Joseph Parker.
Yeah.
I wonder if being on the mountaintop down to the lowest valley, quick, fast, and in a hurry. If that, like, because I want to know, not that I know because it's none of my business, but was it his mental health as in doubting himself? Was it his mental health as in being bipolar? Was it his mental health and thinking thoughts? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because when he was winning, we weren't hearing any of this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, he fired his cornerman, Breland, when he threw the towel in when he was getting pummeled. And he still came back and fought Fury again. You know what I mean? So I'd like to know when he's saying, I've got my mental health back, what was it? Were you just doubting yourself? Were you doubting your skill set? I don't know. That's what I thought about. You may never even thought about it when he said it, took it for what it was. But I do. I'm like that a lot, though. I always think about when someone says something, what do you mean? What are you saying? You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, to say I have mental health issues could mean 1,000 different things, like you're saying. I mean, I could say I have a lower body injury. What is that? A hangnail or a bad? What are we talking? I mean, we don't know. It's something.
Yeah.
And to be depressed versus bipolar are very different things.
Absolutely.
I'm not a doctor or a psychologist, so I'll stop right there. But at the end of the day, your how you react to situations is going to be very different.
Yeah, but there are certain things, like if somebody says, I have a family issue, you don't normally ask what it is. Why are you late? Where are you? I've been dealing with a family issue. Okay, that's personal, whatever have you. Yeah. I'm dealing with my mental health. Now, he's got friends close enough to him that can ask him what was going on. And that's what I would like to know, what is going on? Like with me, and we'll get into it a little bit later, like Devin Haney is dealing with some mental health issues. But his mental health issues is doubt. Will he ever get that back? You know what I mean? So that's mine. And the question would be at that point, does he realize that? Is he speaking through a therapist? Is he being hypnotized? Is he trying to do anything to get that back? So there are different levels to it. You know what I mean? So, okay. You started out by saying you're interested in seeing this one. Mm-hmm. And why did you say to see if Wilder has got it back?
Yeah.
Well, the old adage, the last thing to go in a fighter is his power. So he has the power. We know he's still going to have that. He'll have, when he can be 55 and he'll still have more power than the average 55. We get that, right? But he's almost 40, 37, 38 years old, right? 39.
Mm-hmm.
How many 39-year-old people, forget about guys, women, people, can totally flip the script and become something totally different? You are what you are. You know what I mean? I can right now tell you, or you can tell me, no, I'm a changed person, this, that, whatever. I don't get hype right now. I don't get hype. Mm-hmm. And you might even believe that for the first 3 quarters of one of your beloved Detroit Lions games. Then as soon as something happens, you're going to show your ass and you're going to resort back to what you are. You know what I'm saying? So, dude, 39, they showed Wilder hitting the bag and whatever have you. Did you happen to see that, him hitting the bag and hitting the mitts? He was wearing – people were clowning him online, talking about how small his legs are, this, that, and the third. And that's not even what I looked at. I was looking at is he's hitting the bag, heavy bag, and some mitts. Head, no head movement, still not getting his head off the line. Okay. Not throwing punches and then coming at different angles. Not walking in behind the jab. He was throwing a jab, but when he threw it, he wasn't putting that head. He was just throwing, you know what I mean? He wasn't popping it it wasn't much technique. Now, so on that aspect, I believe he is who he is. On the one hand, I think it might be good if he gets some rounds in. I think it might be really good if he gets some rounds in. The problem is you don't have the skill set, because not trying to be funny, man. Mm-hmm. You never really even think about the last fighter. You take your time, because we're texting all the time anyway, so you can text me when it hits you. When is the last time you looked at Wilder to win because he was setting something up? Or it was, all he's got to do is catch you with that right hand. That's all he's got to do. You know what I'm saying? So if that's all you got to do, whether you're in the first round or the 12th, like he did against Fury in the first one when he knocked him down, if that's all you're doing, you just got to wait for the right time. That's still not setting it up. So getting in rounds doesn't help when you're a one-trick pony. And I hate it because his skill set's better than mine. But when you have that one punch, That's, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't set it up with anything else. He doesn't walk in behind a double jab. He doesn't, get you on feints. He's not doing that. He's bow and arrow with it. I was also looking at some of his other knockouts. The way he just coils back on whatever punch it is, he's going for broke on every punch.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and again, what are you thinking about Wilder? You said why you're interested. So before we get into Herndon, whatever that is, what are your thoughts on?
I just want to see, number one, does he still have, I know he's got the power, but does he still, we're going to know right away if he's really hungry or not. Because if he kind of sleep-rocks through this, kind of like when he fought Ortiz, the last time he fought Ortiz, I think it was in the 6th round. I don't know if he threw 10 punches in the whole fight, but he caught him with that right. He was just waiting for it, and he took him off his feet. Mind you, 4 or 5 years ago now. He was impressive against Fury, obviously, in the first fight. The second fight, he fought him hard. The second fight, he got beat up. But then the third fight, you could see a regression. I hated his performance against Parker. I really hated his performance against Zhang. I didn't like it at all. I don't think anybody did. But at the end of the day, I'm just wanting to see, does he still have it? Can he put Herndon's lights out before round 5? If he can do that, he's in line to get another shot at another at least contender. And then if he does that, by that time, we'll have already seen the Usyk Dubois fight. I don't know what's going to happen after that. We'll see. But, I mean, something's shaking out. Is he going to get a shot at – are they going to have Joshua fight him next? That was always the fight we wanted to see 6 weeks ago.
Okay. You're absolutely right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Your boy, Herndon, what is it, Herndon? What? Okay, Herndon.
Herndon, yep.
He's 24-5 with
15 KOs.
Right there, 15 KOs, right? I couldn't tell you anyone he's fought, number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, do you know where he's ranked in the heavyweights? No, don't look it up.
Oh, no, he's not. He's not ranked. He's 37 as well.
He's not even in the top 50th. He's not even top 50. So I applaud Wilder's camp by getting this dude, because this dude has not been known to he has a lot of knockouts, but no real big names. Mm-hmm. You're 24-5 at 37, and nobody's really heard of you, right? So having said that, I've watched some tape on him. It was like he was fighting guys that were mechanics, plumber. I mean, just not a lot of skill set in the fights. I'm just being honest with you, man. And when I saw him hitting the bag, a lot of guys look like they got mad power when they hit the bag. But when they're hitting another person, you're not considered a knockout artist. He didn't even hit the bag hard. He has to have a superb jab. And the jab hopefully might throw off Wilder's timing. Because I'm telling you now, I'm putting it on wax. Mm-hmm. If his jab isn't stinging in the first round and at least making double jab to the body, double jab, just you have to jab. When you think you've jabbed enough, keep jabbing. Because if Wilder gets to plant his feet, he is going to catch Herndon before the end of the first round. Because I'm telling you now, if it goes 4 or 5, that is it's not going to be a good look for Wilder. It's not going to be a good look because Herndon doesn't have power.
Yep.
He doesn't have power. And your boy, he's only 2 years younger than Wilder. So, I mean, it's perfect. It's a guy he's a heavyweight. His record will tell you he's got knockouts, but he does. So by the record, you might think he has power, but who's it been against? But this could be the fight that Wilder needs to get confidence back and get him rolling. Now, I'll be honest with you. I think he'd need a knockout within the first 2 minutes to be like, oh, he's back and look impressive. Because I just don't think Herndon is going to offer much of a fight at all. But I applaud Wilder's camp for putting this on for signing this dude. It's perfect for his guy. Perfect.
Yeah, he set him up for a future fight because he's maybe one or two more after this. If he's impressive in this one, if he's not impressive in this one, I mean, if I'm a trainer, I'm probably gonna say, dude, I'm looking out for you.
Well, here's the thing: if he's not impressive in this one, who you going after next? Because
Ironman. That's what he should be looking at.
Yeah, but because honestly, big dog, Joshua Dubois, McCauley hits too hard. You know, even McCauley has a skill set. McCauley got a nice little skill set, right?
He does.
Anderson, Miller. There's other guys out there, man, but they do work in some behind the jab. And at 39, going to be 40 here soon. It's not looking, but the heavyweight division is so watered down.
Yep.
You know, you're absolutely right. But because of that right hand, people are still going to – if he gets a knockout in spectacular fashion with that right hand and it's early and vicious, he'll buy himself some more. He'll buy himself some more leeway.
That's what I'm looking for ultimately right there as a fan. I want to see that, and then let's see what's up next. But
yeah.
It's kind of a week. This weekend's a little bit on the weaker side in terms of big name fights. There's some names.
Well,
there's one to talk about.
Yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean we're not going to even touch on the Logan Paul. Here's the thing. I want to touch on this real quick. I as a fan, I don't hate Jake Paul. I don't hate Jake Paul. Go get your money, man. People are paying to see you do what you do. Just don't call it boxing because it's not boxing.
You notice The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Those guys never claimed to be the baddest men in the world. They never because they knew wrestling was predetermined. It beats on the body, but they knew they weren't real fighters in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Stop calling out old guys. Stop calling out guys that aren't boxers. Stop calling out guys significantly past their prime and saying you want a shot at the belt. That's not how it works, brother. That is not how it works.
Nope.
You know what I mean? But see, here's the thing. There are some good fights on this weekend and on that card.
Yeah.
In principle, I'm not watching that fight. I'm not watching that fight. Can't do it. Cannot do it.
Here's why I'm going to regret it too. This next fight.
I know.
And I would like to see this fight. Floyd Schofield and Tevin Farmer, lightweight bout, 10-rounder. Man, this is a good matchup. Now, if you look on paper at the records, you know, it looks a little lopsided in terms of what Schofield's done. He's 18-0, but Tevin Farmer's resume is impressive.
Yes.
He just beat Akhmedov, got TKO. He lost to Diego Pacheco. He got KO'd.
Yeah.
He went the distance with Andrade, Andrade and lost. But then he beat Gabe Rosario, and he won that decision. And he lost to Daniel Jacobs by decision. So he's held up decently, pretty well against some named fighters. Where when I look at Schofield's, Derianchenko, that's the big name on his resume, and he won. He got the UD 10 on that fight. So, he was supposed to fight Shakur, and that fell out. He was in the hospital or something, whatever heavy fell out. Yeah.
And let's not forget, even with one arm, Farmer just lost to Zepeda, which was a good fight.
Yes.
Which was a good. Well, when I say I hate it, it wasn't a good fight to me because he only had one hand and one arm because he messed up his shoulder. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing: Floyd is 22.
Yep.
You call out Shakur, which to me, at that age, they're expecting you to lose because Shakur was considered the golden boy, the phenomenal. I wish he would have taken the fight, even if he'd gotten whitewashed and lost every round. He was in no danger of getting beaten up because that's not what Shakur does, right? So, and you were only 21. You were 20 at the time, 21. You were young, whatever it was.
Yeah.
However, maybe it was early this year, so maybe it's still 22, whatever. However, this one, I still give him credit. I'm not saying because Farmer's not a knockout guy. Farmer's not whatever, but Farmer has a nice skill set. You know, I'm liking him. He's a Philly guy, Philly fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Schofield, this is a huge step up for him in competition. He is a whatever have you. Now, here's the thing that sort of bothers me. He's only 22. He has 18 fights. And I'm not saying he leads with his head, but he's had a couple fights where head clashes have been issues.
Yeah.
That bothers me. That bothered me. You don't want to be labeled as a dirty fighter. You're too young. And not even saying he is a dirty fighter, but you keep leading with your head and you lunging with your head. That's not good, man. That's not good. But this is definitely a huge step up with him for competition.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this one. I wish I would be watching it. But at the end of the day, I like Schofield here in a decision. I think he's going to get a real education. I think he'll come out of it good. But Farmer's no joke, and any mistakes, like you said, he gets too aggressive with the head lunging and stuff. You don't want that, obviously. But anytime you're doing that, a guy like Farmer, he's watching tape, so he's figuring out ways to get him.
Yeah.
And they're both orthodox fighters, so we're not talking about any southpaws here. So I don't know. I kind of like Schofield in this one, but how do you see it?
Well, here's the thing. You like Schofield, and I understand why, right?
Mm-hmm.
But with the huge step up in competition, you never know. Now, here's the thing. Farmer's only 34.
Yep.
12 years older, so significantly older, but not a dinosaur in boxing. To me, you're close to maximum out your body. I say prime years to me ends about 33, 34, right? You can still be competitive at 35 on that side, 35, 36, but to me, you're past your prime. So, but he's not a knockout puncher, but he will give as good as he gets. So I want to see, has Schofield tasted that sort of power? And not even the power, knockout power, the power in I'm going to be in your face. I'm going to keep coming. I've got heart. I've got determination. I've got grit. I'm not going to stop coming. So that's why I'm interested to see that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he, as in Farmer, lost the belt. He lost to who? Jojo Diaz, to Merlayev, and then we were just talking about Zepeda. But those ain't no slouches, big dog. Those aren't slouches.
No.
You know what I mean? And they're now they're fighting this at 135? Or is it still 130? 135? I think it might be 130. However, having said that, big dog,
mm-hmm.
It to me is going to be 135, lightweight 135.
Mm-hmm.
Lightweight 135. It's going to be a good one. I like Farmer. I know. And here's the thing. I think if Schofield gets this victory, it's going to come down to the speed. Farmer just couldn't deal with the speed. He could see it. You see the punches coming. He could see what he wanted to throw. He just couldn't get off. If it comes down to it, and if he is in Farmer loses this, I think the difference will be the speed.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and I think it's going to be very close, but I do think that's why I got Schofield winning this by a decision. I don't think it's going to be a lopsided fight. I think it's going to be a very close fight. So they both got to bring their A game, but I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
And why I say speed, only because he's 22. When's the last time Farmer's been in there with somebody that young? You know what I mean? And seen that. There's not much of a game plan. There's not much of an offense or defense Schofield can bring that Farmer hasn't seen. We ain't worried about that. Farmer's camp is not worried about that. I think it's just going to be the speed. I saw it, but I couldn't get there. So I'm interested to see how fast it goes as in Farmer work the body. Go to the body. Make sure you get to that body. That's what I'm interested to see. How his team adjust on the fly. Because you're not going to be able to equate for the speed. So you've got to adjust on the fly. How do you do that? That's what I want to see.
It's going to be a chess match in a lot of ways. It's going to be fun to watch. Here's a fight I'm really looking forward to here. Super middleweight fight. This is for the WBC interim title because, as we know, Canelo Alvarez is the undisputed champion. He's going to be fighting Bud Crawford in September. This is for the interim super middleweight title bout. So this is at 168. Christian Mbilli against Poland's own Maciej Sulecki. Mbilli's undefeated, 28-0, 23 knockouts. Sulecki 33-3 with 13 knockouts. Interesting fight coming up here. And I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I was reading off the fights that actually Sulecki had fought against Pacheco and Andrade and Rosario, he's fought a lot. He has that resume. I apologize for that. But that's his resume and who he's fought. But Mbilli really doesn't have a huge resume, but
No.
he's a strong fighter. Very
Yes.
strong fighter.
Yes, he is. He is. He likes to throw heavy leather. Born in Cameroon, moved to France at an early age, so he's considered a French boxer. He fought in the Olympics, considers nationality French. Now, if we're going to talk about this, number one, Mbilli, look, you see how he's built? He's built like a cartoon character, ripped, shredded, whatever have you, right? Yeah. And depending on who you talk to, he's in the top 3 to 5 on everybody's super middleweight. He's there, right? He's there. So, but it's going to be interesting because he doesn't have a whole lot of big names, right? He doesn't have a whole lot of big names on his resume. So you don't know his skill set. You just know he's coming forward. He's throwing punches and bunches, and he's coming pissed off. That's what you know about Mbilli, okay? Now, if we're going to go about your boy Sulecki, okay. I've watched some of his highlights and some fights he's been in. He has a chin. He may have one of the best. Now, again, I don't know. Again, some of the guys that he's fighting, if they're considered, knockout guys, but he's taken some solid shots and been like, yo, I'm still here. That all you got? Now, body shot that Pacheco hit him with. Woo, nasty. That shifted organs. Yeah. That shot shifted organs. So having said that, I, again, think there's going to be blood. There's going to be a lot of it. I want to see how fast Mbilli realizes hitting this guy to the head means absolutely nothing. It's not doing anything. It's not doing anything. So I'm interested to see how this goes because to me, there's not going to be I hate to say it's not going to be a huge skill set wise where we're looking, at some of these other guys that bring with their skill set. I'm not looking at that. They're going to have power. There's going to be chin. There's going to be punches. There's going to be blood. It's going to be entertaining. And that's Friday night too. Mm-hmm. They're not on the same card as Deontay, but they're on ESPN Plus.
Yeah,
they're on ESPN Plus. So yeah, that'll be a good one too. And I'm interested to see how Mbilli changes to realize I got to hit the body. And what will Sulecki do? How's he going to adjust? He's there to give as good as he gets. That's going to be entertaining. It's going to be entertaining.
Yeah, and I like Mbilli in this one. I like him in the 7th. I'm calling it. I think he's going to watch that Pacheco tape as well and learn. But I think he's going to start. I don't think he's going to. I guess strategy wise, I think he's going to start binding his range up high, but he's going to go. The shots he's really looking for, the kill shots, are going to be in the body. There's no question about that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But now, see, here's the thing. Pacheco caught him. Same way B-Hop caught De La Hoya. Just caught him with a body. You know what I'm saying? And we've seen guys get hit with body shots just right on the button, right, whatever it may be. Hell, we just saw Kambosos get hit with a nice body shot, that by hitches it took him out. Mm-hmm. So, and I can't say that Sulecki, I'm not saying he doesn't like we know your boy doesn't like getting hit to the body.
Usyk.
We know that, right? We know that. Not saying he's like that. So I'm just saying he got caught with a devastating body shot, right? A devastating body shot. So even if Mbilli goes to the body, if you don't land that precision shot, what happens? So that's where but to me, I'm saying 9th or later. 9th or later for an end to this one if Mbilli gets it. Later, 9th or later.
Okay.
9th or later. Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about because they're fighting 168.
Yep.
If he gets the win, how's it going to push him up? What's he doing? Will he then be able to be called out? Canelo, this, that, and the third. I don't see it. Not to me. He's not in Canelo's. He's not. This is the same place. To me, Canelo has earned the right to only fight the mega fights, right? To me. But now there's so many different governing bodies, you can't do that, right? But because they have mandatory contender, whatever have you. However, if he gets the win, I'd like to see him fight Charlo. I'd like to see him fight Charlo. Hell, I'd like to see him go, even if your boy comes back. We just lose.
Oh, Plant?
Yeah. I'd like to see that because those guys are bringing different skill sets. You know what I'm saying? Those guys are bringing different skill sets, and Mbilli would be tested. They're not just going to stand right in front of you. They're going to come with angles. They're going to make you miss. They're going to come with – they got a toolbox. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that too.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I like his chances against Plant. On paper, if he wins this fight and Canelo takes care of business with Bud Crawford, he's the number 1 ranked super middleweight, according to Ring. So, but he's not the name. And I get it. I totally get it. So, Caleb Plant, somebody like that makes more sense for him. I'm looking through here. Hal Pacheco makes sense.
That'd be a nice one.
So
that'd be a real good one.
Munguia, we're not going to see for a little bit. So, it is what it is. Bruno Sarasi, there's the guy too.
Yeah.
So we'll see. He's countrymen.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But
the crazy part is those two haven't even fought even in there for the same. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I'd like to. But here's the. Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
He gets this win.
Okay.
He's the number 1 contender. Like I said, we don't really know him. How do you feel about that? You're the number 1 contender, but we don't really know you. Yeah, you got a lot of knockouts, but it hasn't been the greatest talent. How do you feel about that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't like the resume per se.
What do you think? I was going to ask you, what should have more weight? A guy who's maybe 21-3, but his 3 losses were to tough competition, or a guy who's 21-1, tough competition, not a whole lot of knockouts, but tough competition, or a guy who's 28-0 with 25 knockouts, but no real names on the screen. You know what I'm saying? What I mean?
I always lean towards record, but in the last 5 years or so, I'm shifting more towards resume because I'm seeing too many guys trying to protect the O.
See, but I was going to say, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I wanted to say, you see, we're old men, we're dinosaurs. Those O's meant something years ago, 20, 30 years ago when we were unboxing, because the best fought best.
Yeah.
Now everybody's trying to keep that O, so they're fighting tomato cans. They're not, you know what I mean? So it is a bit different. So because when you said I go on everybody's record, I was like, well, but then you clarified why it is. So I got you. But you're mixing errors in that aspect. Yeah. When I say, because it was great to go by records back then, but now you can't. You know what I'm saying? Because guys aren't fighting guys.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. But when we do strike gold, it's awesome. It's awesome.
It's a beautiful thing.
Anytime you can see that great fight, it's always beautiful. Let's talk a little bit of boxing news. And I thought it was interesting. The WBC came out and said that Tyson Fury has a title shot waiting for him if and when he returns to boxing, or if he decides to return to boxing. Okay, well, I'm curious your thoughts on that, Chops, because he lost 2 in a row to Usyk. Obviously, he is holding that WBC belt. That was his pride and joy, along with the Ring Magazine belt. And then he obviously lost it to Usyk and couldn't get it back. I get there's a lot of folks, not a lot of folks, but some folks thought he beat Usyk in the second fight. Okay, whatever. But your thoughts on this, that he would automatically have a shot?
I think it's bullshit. And here's what I would do. You had 2 losses. You lost the belt. You reigned for so long. Okay. A lot of people, saying the best heavyweight of this era, whatever you want to say. I think because it's a watered down heavyweight, whatever. However, if you go that route, say right now we have Usyk and Dubois coming back, right, or about to run it. There is a rematch clause in there if Dubois gets it. Okay, if Dubois wins. So here's what we have. Watch to see the fight. Watch the fight. If Usyk wins, there's not going to be a rematch. There probably wouldn't be a rematch. Do we want to see that one more time? They may sell it. I don't know. I don't want to. However, if Dubois wins, they've got the rematch. So what I'd like to see is on the rematch, have Turk run it. The rematch, Dubois versus Usyk. Joshua versus Fury. The winner of Tyson and Joshua get the winner of the rematch between because to me, you've lost twice, right? There will be another number one contender because he's earned that spot. So you need to have a fight with him. That's to me. And if you don't even like doing it that way, okay, fine. I get it. Not everybody agrees on everything. He isn't Tyson Fury needs to at least get a fight against the top guy. To me, that would be me. Because right now, say you are number one right guy right now or number two in the WBC. Hold on, he retired. Why does he get to sit out 8-9 months a year, whatever it is, and just come back and get this? No, that's not fair at all. That is not fair at all. And I hate to say, fair like, you're crying, but these guys earned that spot. They earned that spot. You know what I mean? So when they earned it, and I say they earned it because they got punched in the face. They went through the training camps. And you got a guy now that is first or number one, number two contender, and we're just going to push you out because Fury is back. Not to me, man. I'm not digging that. I'm not digging that. What about you?
No, but I love your scenario. If Dubois and Usyk run it back, the winner would fight the winner of the Fury Joshua fight would take the winner of that fight. But yeah, I agree. Seeing Usyk and Fury again, I'm not. I know I would watch it, but that would be a tough sell to the public for the most part because they've already seen it twice. You can argue either way you want. I mean, but I felt Usyk won both fights.
Yeah, they were boring though.
I mean, the first one was pretty exciting. I mean, but the second one, yeah, I mean, really, it was. I didn't think it was really in doubt much, to be honest. I thought Usyk dominated the last half of the fight. So, I don't know. It's hard to say. I think he's a great fighter. I mean, he's a great fighter, but I think he should go for that last payday with Joshua. It's going to sell out. It'll sell out Wembley.
Oh my God! Without question.
It'll be a huge event. It'll be on the zone. It'll be a great fight. It'll be fun to watch. But after that, I think they both ought to call it a career, honestly.
Okay. Then let me ask you this. If you can, and it's rough because your mindset's different, is actually, if you're Tyson Fury, is it worth even it'd be a great payday to fight Joshua, but you've already got more money than you can spend. Does that alone incentivize you to come back? Or would it have to be for the belt again? Would you like this? Let me ask you this. Hypothetically, if he, as in Dubois, wins, I know we got the rematch clause, but people can talk, they Twitter chat, whatever have you. In the ring, if he says, I want Tyson Fury, I want Fury, would it be that scenario? Because what fight do you think bring more money? Him and Dubois, him and Usyk and another one, or him and Joshua? Just on the money, biggest payday.
That's a good question. It should be Usyk, assuming he beats Dubois again.
So you think that third one would be the biggest payday, or that's what you think it should be?
I think it should be, but I believe it would be the Joshua fight because Joshua's name value and the way he looks, the way when he wins, he's
where they fight. Yeah, I got you. Okay, so having said that, what do you think? Would it be the lure of a $70 million, $80 million? I'm just picking some crazy $80 million payday. Or would it be the lure of I can go out fighting Dubois or Usyk one more time, just trying to get that belt and retire? What do you think? What do you think would entice him more?
Well, it depends on his spending habits. Because I know I've read about Evander Holyfield, how much money he made, and he ended up broke. Mike Tyson ended up broke. Sugar Ray Leonard ended up broke. And those gentlemen made millions of dollars. So it depends. I mean, if he's been smart with his money, it's going to be about pride and going out in his own terms. If not, it's definitely about money. And he'll make a lot of it, especially with Joshua. I think if they have to fight that fight in the UK, and it will make millions of dollars.
Ooh.
Millions of
dollars.
dollars.
You have to bring trucks some to there. Oh my god, yeah, it'll be like that, man.
So
it'll be like that. And we still didn't get to it, man. But we got to touch on this Devin Haney, and I don't even know if it's Bill Haney.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Haney, he's still in it. So I want to touch on that, man, next week, whatever have you, and because this Twitter shit is getting out of hand to me, man. This is ridiculous. You're grown men and you're tweeting like fifth graders. It gets on my nerves, man. It gets on my nerves. So we'll see, man.
We've tried to touch it a couple of weeks in a row now, but we get caught up in the actual.
He can. Here's the one thing. On the one hand, I don't want to talk about it because you're the dad. You're not even getting in the ring. Just like Tyson Fury's pop at the time, who would always be ahead. Dude, what are you there for? That's not what you're there for. That's not what you're there for. So that would tick me off. But now it's getting to the point where, dude, you're just saying some outlandish stuff. Nobody believes it, but your own son doesn't even believe it. You know what I mean? Your son doesn't believe it. So, and he's about to write a check that his son's ass can't cash. And I firmly believe that. So we'll see. We got to touch on him. And hell, he gives us more talking points every week. We just have more important stuff and pressing stuff to talk about. You know what I mean? But he gives us something every week.
We will talk about it next week. Definitely. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for hitting the like button on these videos. Thanks for subscribing. Don't forget to check us out every Friday night at 10 p.m. on the ESEN Network on Roku channel. He's Chops. I'm Drew. We're putting out content every week. Catch us next week for more. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you for watching the Haymakers and Submissions podcast. You can find us on the ESEN Network on the Roku app every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time beginning on October 4th, 2024. Check us out on Twitter X. Our handle is @HeySubPod, capital H, capital S, capital P. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single episode. Just go to your web browser and type in www.youtube.com/@Haymakers and Submissions podcast, as we will drop content weekly. Whether it's boxing, MMA, or wrestling that gets you fired up, you'll get all you need right here at the Haymakers and Submissions podcast.